Sup peeps, my name's Ian, I sell books on eBay. This is day 4. Just try to do this every day, see if we can make it for a whole year. Here we go. This is going to be split into 2 bits today because it's Saturday morning, which means I've got all the way to midday to get some postage and packaging done. So I've got a load of stuff to show you just now, get packed up, drop off at the Royal Mail, pick up the rest of the orders that have come through yesterday afternoon, overnight, and I'll show you them when I get back from that. But let's just go through what we've got at the moment. First one's a bit of a mystery package. Bit of a mystery package. I know what it is, but you'll have to take my word for it because it's a pre-wrapped one, ready to go. It's 5 Alex Cross novels, James Patterson. What have we got? 4 Blind Mice, Violets of Blue. What are the other ones in there? Pop Goes the Weasel, Cat and Mouse, and Roses Are Red. So it's the kind of vintage trade copies of those, and the 5 of those sold for £10.99. So an easy one to pack. Let's stick it in a packing pile and see what else we've got that's gone out the door. What have we got? We've got some Christian Cameron. Let's grab them. 4 Christian Cameron paperbacks, and they have sold for £13.99. So historical fiction. I think they're nearly all the Tyrant series, yeah, apart from one of the marathons. So yeah, that's a nice little sale, £13.99. Which takes us swiftly on to, I don't know if swiftly is the right word, but it takes us on to, at any rate, one that's, I don't have anything in order today, really not doing well with that, but we've got the List of Suspicious Things by, what was it, Jenny Godfrey. Just picked this up the other day. Let's see, if I like the look of a book, I pick it up, then I worry about what it's worth and if it'll sell. Maybe not the best way of doing it, but £8.09 for that one there. Very nice. And it's end papers, nice end papers, usually means it sells well. That makes no sense, but it works for me. £8.09 for a bit of Jenny Godfrey. I'm just checking who's buying these because the other day Jeffrey bought a couple of military books and I didn't realise until afterwards that it was himself that had bought them. Jeffrey's been a supporter all the way through. Thank you for that, Jeffrey. I did give him a wee mention in the title, but I kept forgetting to say in the last video. So that's that. Next, not books, but it's still bits of paper, and it is a bundle of knitting magazines. I don't know how many are here, but it's 30 plus, I know that much. I picked up, well, it was they were going in the bin at the charity shop because they don't deal with magazines. I said I'll take them, divvied them up. So there was a few where they were like sequential editions of the same magazines. So I bundled them up. They sold for, £10 a bundle, and then I got left with a stack of kind of random ones, and they've sold for 20 quid. So it's not big money, but as they were completely free to get, whatever profit is profit. They're going to be, £6.65, whatever it is, to post them. Probably a couple of mailer envelopes to get them all wrapped up. So about 7 quid to post them, whatever the eBay fees were. So I've maybe made a tenner on that, maybe thereabouts. So yes, 30 plus knitting magazines going to Catherine for £20. Next, we've got another pre-made bundle, but this time they're only wrapped, they're not bagged, and it's some young adult fantasy books. A wee stack of 5. I can't even see in the picture what's actually in those, but they've been listed for quite a wee while. I made a few listings of these and they've just slowly sold, but £12.99 for the 5 of those. Another easy pack, thankfully, all in very good condition. Then we've got a CD. Lulu, Shout. You make me want to. So the complete deck of recordings, Lulu, Shout, and that went for £8.99. So again, that's one of those where I get hundreds of CDs for next to nothing because they were all going to get thrown out, and within that there will be a handful that are worth selling on their own, and that's been one of those. So Lulu, Shout, complete deck of recordings, £8.99. And then another. So a big box of DVDs, and in amongst it there was a couple of GameCube games. Nothing crazy, but again, the DVDs were all pretty worthless as such, but Crash Bandicoot, which one is it? The Wrath of Cortex, and that sold for £12.95. Now these are untested. I do check the discs, it's got disc and manual in it. I do check the discs to make sure that they're clean, so hopefully there's no issues with that one. But £12.95, I put them at the lowest price possible to try and eliminate any issues. Right, another non-book sale, which for some reason I've got sat at the back, and it is 20 musicals. So I do have a few DVD listings, you know, 20 Disney, 20 musicals, 20 horrors, whatever it might be, and it's £14.99 typically for 20 of those, but I think there must have been a wee 10% discount on that one, so that's going for £13.49 for the 20 DVDs. It's less than 2 kilos, so that'll be £3 odd to post them, less fees, so £5 or £6 coming back on that. And even if I paid the most I ever pay for DVDs on those, that would have cost me £2. So again, it's a few pounds profit to work its way through. Excuse me. Right, books. Yes, another bundle of 5. Laurel K. Hamilton. Some, what have we got? We've got some Anita Blake and some of her Seduced series. So, yes, Seduced, Caress. What was it? Seduced by Moonlight. A caress. That's one of those words that just stops sounding right to me straight away. Caress of Twilight. We've got Blood Noir, Danse Macabre, Mika and Strange Candy. So 5 of those went for £13.49. So that's probably another £14.99er, which is going with a 10% discount. £14.99 usually means they were over 2 kilos. Oh, it's not. So yeah, another nice little £6, £7, £8 profit there. Right, I've not picked that one yet, but I have picked this one. And we've got, haven't sold any of these in a wee while, so nice for them to go out, although I've not listed any in a wee while. It's one of these things, I pick up loads and loads and loads, and I don't see any for ages, and then I get loads and loads and loads and loads. So we've got 3 Julia Donaldson, bit of Rabbit's Nap, Sugar Lump and the Unicorn, and Chocolate Mousse for Greedy Goose with a gift aid sticker on it, which I shall just remove so that it doesn't get packed with a gift aid sticker. I don't worry too much about price stickers and such on the books. If they come off easy, I'll take them off easy. If they don't, I'm not going to mess with them. You know, we're selling these books pretty cheap for the most part, so if that's what comes on them, that's what comes on them. But somebody with them wants to take the chance of trying to rip them off, they can. But beyond that, the books should still always be in good to very good condition, unless it's something very collectible that still has a bit of value, where it's, you know, bashed and broken, which to be honest isn't very often. More often than not, it's not even worth picking them up. But I do, because I'm not very bright. So anyway, the 3 of them sold for £11.36. So that's the sales so far to show you. I say I've got maybe another few that I need to go and pick. In the time that takes, maybe some more orders will come in, and I'll have a wee bit more to show you this afternoon. But we've got, what was it? Let's have a look. One, two, only two. Alright, so I've only got 2 more orders that I actually need to pick and get packed up and out, so I'll grab them when I go to the post office, like I said, and I'll be back in a minute. And he's back. So I've dropped off my post, I've picked up the last couple of orders, nothing else has come in, which fair enough, it's only been like half an hour, 40 minutes or so, enough time to drive there, grab the stuff, drive back, make a quick cup of coffee, And here we are. So I've got the last 2 orders to show you, so it's not an awful lot. But also, whilst I was making my coffee, I was having a look at the comments from the last couple of days, and there's a couple of things in there that, yeah, I can respond to. I can have a quick chat about, but I'll show you these last 2 orders first, and then we can move on from there. So first up is 2 Christopher Brookmeyer books, Be My Enemy and Want You Gone, and 2 of those went for £8.49, followed by, it's a bundle of 9, where are we, a bundle of 9, a bundle of 9, a bundle of 9, £24.99. That seems like an awful lot. I'm going to have to go and check, make sure my offers are working, but we've got 9 Alex Gray paperbacks, and that went for £24.99. So that's the last 2 orders, which means we can move on to the comments that I was talking about. Coffee. I know that annoys some people, but you know, it's just the time of the day. So first up, the new eBay fees. So yeah, along with everyone else, I got the email through talking about the new fees that are going to be applying sometime soon. Was it a buyer protection fee, something along those lines, that are going to be applied to every sale? So it doesn't get charged to the seller, it gets charged to the buyer. So if you're selling something for a tenner, we're going to stick on like a 4% fee plus 75 pence per transaction. So it's kind of more like the Vinted model, I believe, I think, sounds like it. Which, if you're selling low value stuff, you know, if you're selling stuff for a tenner, then that's bumping it up by kind of 10% overall. You know, it's quite a significant increase. I don't know if there's VAT to be applied to that as well, but that could increase it further still. So instead of a 10% increase, you're talking about 12%, so on and so forth. If you're selling stuff for £3 or £4, you know, like books, then that could be a massive increase on what you're doing. You know, you're sticking an extra 80-90 pence onto what you're only selling for £3-4, which is a significant increase, and means that most private sellers will not be able to even think about competing with high volume sellers of low value items. However, how does this impact me? It doesn't. I'm a business seller. None of these things are being applied to business sellers from what I gather from their email. This is just for private sellers, as they try and encourage more and more private sellers who are running as a business to move over to the eBay business model. I don't know how they make more money moving people over to the business side, but they've been saying for quite some time that their intention is to support private sellers who are working as a business to move across to the business seller platform rather than using the private one. Also, the various promotions that are available will no longer be available to private sellers, so only business sellers are going to be able to take advantage of those. So if you're buying and selling as a business, then this clear message is move over to the business platform, stop working as a private seller, and you know, take advantage of what eBay offers from that point of view. And it doesn't cost anything as such to become a business seller. It's just a bit more transparency. You know, that's all of these things. It's done. My son's mug. Bit embarrassing, but hey. Right. The whole business private seller thing, it's something that always niggles at me. I don't really care. It doesn't have any real impact on what I'm doing, but I've never understood why somebody who's obviously a business, because you can tell by the volume and the types of items that are listed that they are buying and selling, why are they not taking advantage of the business seller piece already? Yeah, you get free listings as a private seller. Great, fantastic. You need to pay for them as a business seller. But if you're a business and you've got a few hundred items listed, then you become a business seller, you take on a shop subscription, you're paying your, I don't know, what is it, 30-40 quid for the basic at the moment. It gets you like 250 free listings, plus auction listings, plus lots of other benefits on top of that. So that's all taken care of. And if you're moving a reasonable volume, it's a drop in the ocean. It really is. Doing what I do as a private seller with I don't have thousands and thousands and thousands of listings, but I've got, at the moment, I'm keeping about 1,500 live at a time, which is £90, £92 a month, and for the eBay shop, which pays for all of those listings. Plus, there's 600 free auction listings on top of that, which, to be honest, I very rarely use, and all the other business benefits on top of that, which in the future will include not paying that buyer protection fee, or not having my customers charged that buyer protection fee, which is going to be a bonus all the way through. Advantages of being private over business is the whole returns thing is a different deal. If you're a business, then what you have to accept as returns, trading standards, is a much higher level than if you are just a private seller, and breaching those terms will have a much more significant impact on your business on eBay and elsewhere. Again, it's not really an issue. If somebody doesn't like what they've bought, send it back. If something's broken, if something is damaged, if something just isn't what was expected, send it back. Refunds, that's just part of any kind of retail, so never an issue there. But in short, how will it impact me? I think the 75 pence plus 4%, it won't. I'm a business seller. It's only private sellers that are going to be impacted by that. Is it fair? I don't know. I don't think, for what I do, private sellers particularly impact my business, because most people who are wanting to sell stuff, they want to be making £10-20 an item, so they're not selling the stuff that I sell as a rule, which is kind of why I sell what I sell, because there's not as many people doing it. But yeah, that's what it is. Another little question there, what was it? Julie, could you do a breakdown of fees? A bit confused by what's on eBay, thanks. Fees are confusing and incredibly straightforward. You need to know what it is you're wanting to do to understand how the fees are going to impact you. If I sell a bundle of books for £10, as an example, then straight away eBay are going to be taking, I think, 30 pence as just a kind of flat per transaction fee. So there's 30 pence gone straight away. Books, it's 11 or 12% at the moment. So say 12% because there'll be VAT included in that. So that's 12% of that £10 is gone there, so that's £1.20. So we're already at £1.50 in fees. If you are selling promoted, then you have your promoted listing fees in place. So if you promote at 10%, that's another £1. But I'm going to charge you VAT on top of that, so it's actually another £1.20. So all of a sudden you're at like £2.70 fees for that £10 sale, which is about 30%. And that's where I kind of base my pricing on. I just assume that my fees are going to be round about 30% in total. Sometimes it's much less than that. The higher the value, the less impact that 30 pence has, for example. But I just work on the assumption that it's going to be 30% of any sale is going back to eBay in fees. And that rule typically fits quite well. Especially if I take it across, a days and a weeks and a month sales, it's about 30%. Very rarely strays from that figure. At the start of the month, it seems much higher because I pay my short fees and everything, but that very quickly catches up and brings it back down to round about that 30%, which means that if I'm selling something for a tenner, I can assume that there's going to be about 30% going in fees, about 30% going in postage costs, and that leaves about 40% left over to pay for the stock, pay for the packaging, pay for time, all of these things. It's profit back into the business as such. So that's what you need to think about with fees. There's lots of different fee calculators that you can go online and just play about with, put in different values for different things and see exactly what impact that might have on your sales. But just work out, considering fees means you need to consider pricing. So if you are doing a bit of work, you need to decide what value you want to get out of that bit of work. There's no point saying, well, everybody's doing that for a £5, so I'll do it for a £5, when that means that you're going to be working for £5 an hour. There's no point in that. If you can't do it for that, then you need to price at a level that is going to suit you. So if you've got like a skilled carpenter, they're maybe going to charge you £500 plus a day in labour for making your table, but you could buy that table for 20 quid at a B&Q or IKEA or somewhere. So you need to, you know, where is your value? If you're selling things for £500 and folk can get them elsewhere, or not get the same thing but get an equivalent for 20, 30, 40, £50, then you're not going to get as many sales. So you need to add other value around about that and make sure that it's worth what you're doing. But don't price just according to, right, it's £3 in fees, it cost me a quid, I can make 50p. That's pointless. If you need to make a fiver, then you need to price it so that you will make a fiver. If nothing sells, then you need to find a different avenue. But that's where I would look at it from the point of view of fees. Once I've paid for my fees, once I've paid for my postage, once I've paid for the stock and the packaging, what's left over, and is it worth my while? And then if it's the price that I'm proposing means that I'm going to make 20 pence, it's not worth my while. So I need to put it up by a couple of quid to make that be something that is good to go. So yeah, that was that. Fees, they're complicated, but quite simple if you just stick to the basics and know exactly what they're going to take on from you. Do I ever get time to read myself? Oh yes, I read a lot, but I'm not going to talk about that here just now. I think that's all we've really got so far. There's always a few questions about sourcing and getting started with the books. If you are starting out with books, the first thing you need to do is find a good source. So, you know, shop around, go around, look for places that, even if they're not the best price, they have a high volume turnover, or they've got lots and lots going on, because then you might be able to start making deals on what's available. Beyond that, it is very difficult to compete with the high volume book, small media retailers, because they have much better postage deals and all the rest of it. So you want to be looking at creating bundles of some sort. If you can find sequential associated type bundles, then they will sell better than just random books piled together. So look for stuff that you can bundle up that way, and that might mean that you spend a few weeks buying stock before you're really in a position to start listing much, because you want to build up sets and you want to create those sets so that you can then get them listed and get them moving. The other key thing there is, if you have multiples, make sure you put up a multi-listing. So for example, I've just been to the unit and I've picked up some more James Patterson books. So I've got 3 of each for 5 different books. So that'll be one listing, 3 items in it. So instead of it being a listing that's worth a tenner, it's a listing that's worth 30 quid. It's again, it's still not an awful lot of money. You're not making more money off of them, but it does improve the likelihood of multiple sales of that item. If you listed up 3 separate items, excuse me, then you've got to wait for friction and interest in each of those separate ones. If you list up one item with multiples, as soon as it gets a sale, it goes up in the algorithm's estimations, and you're more likely to get additional sales from that one listing. So, you know, long-standing multi-listings are good from that. So yeah, if you're starting out with books, then look for the bundles. You know, those, if you've got somewhere where you can get 3 for £1, 4 for £1, even 2 for £1, look at pulling together bundles that are 2 kilograms or less. That's including packaging, so that you can ship them at the kind of lowest Royal Mail rate. Send them tracked. Try and use Royal Mail if you can. I've had bad experiences with all the other carriers except for Royal Mail. Occasionally things go missing, but considering the thousands of stuff that's been sent, that's an absolute drop in the ocean. Yeah, bundles, keep them under 2 kilograms. If you're looking at hardcover books, try and find first editions. It doesn't add a lot value wise, you know, for sale price, but it can add quite a lot value wise in, you know, how you're able to present your listing. If you're saying, right, 4 Michael Connelly hardcovers. Michael Connelly hardcovers, they sell for £3.50 each. Big whoop. But if they're all first print, first editions, then that raises that listing above all the other ones for bundles of Michael Connelly books. Hope that makes sense. And sometimes those first editions are worth a few quid more, so it could be worth doing it that way. A good example of that is the Richard Osman series. So if you've got the 4 books, the Thursday Murder Club, the 4 books, you can sell them quite easily for quite a reasonable price. But if they're all hardcover first editions, then it's an extra tenner. So it's kind of a no-brainer. So it's worth keeping your eyes open for those. And it means that if you were to go in, and if they were all just random editions and they're looking for £2 each, it's not worth it, because you're going to get 15 quid for them. So by the time you've paid for them, paid for your postage, paid for your fees, you're not making anything. But if they're all £2 each and they're all first editions, then you're going to make a tenner on them. So that £8 could be worth investing. And typically that type of title will sell quicker than ones that aren't. So yeah, if you're just getting started with the books, or if you've got a big bundle of books and you're not sure what to do with them, that's what I would suggest. I'm certainly not an expert. You know, I sell books, but I am nothing compared to many other booksellers. I'm a very small fish in quite a big pond. So, you know, think about what works for you. But sets, definitely, you know, put together the bundles. Keep your eyes open for first editions, special editions, signed copies. It all adds on a little bit of value, and a lot of places don't separate them out. They're just there on the shelf, mixed in with everything else. So it's amazing what you can find. I did stumble across a wee while ago I think it was a second printing of one of the Lord of the Rings books. So not massively valuable, but it was just stuck on the shelf with all their other older books. So I think I paid £1 for it. It was just an old Lord of the Rings book I picked up. I didn't actually look at it very hard in the store. It was just like, oh, that'll be worth £1. And it sold for a lot more than £1. Not a ridiculously valuable book, but that's the kind of things you want to keep your eyes open for. Most charity shops have them all just racked up together. The staff in the charity shops are unlikely to be bibliophiles. They're not going to be experts on the books. As with everything else, you know, they get the stuff in, they get it sold. So you will find some rather tasty bangers in there. Stuff that looks the same as everything else, but once you get into it, instead of it being a £5 book, it's a £40 book. You know, so yeah, first editions, bundles, that's the way to go. Definitely getting that started. Was there anything else just now? Let's have a look. Should shipping be free? Well, I have listings where I charge shipping, and I have listings where I don't. If it's a single item or a pre-made bundle, it's free postage. I just roll it all into one, so that it's just, there's the price, that's what you pay, that's what you get. Listings where I have, for example, the Alex Gray listing that is sold from, all the books are priced individually, £2 something. Don't know if it'll even show me on here. I think like £3 each. The books are priced at £3 each. You know, buy 3 get 2 free, buy 1 get 1 half price, buy 2 get 1 free. All those offers are included and embedded within it, but there is a £3.99 postage charge. So people are still going to get a good deal, but there's always a postage charge, just to allow for the fact that, you know, this lot, although it's a nice little sale, it's going to cost me like £7 to get that shipped, you know, postage plus actual like packaging, etc. So that £3.99 allows for where it's going to be more than you would have anticipated. And if I was to sell £3 each and buy 3 get 2 free, then 5 books would sell for £9. £3 in fees, £4 in postage, £1 or so in that, I'm only going to make 75p, so it's pointless. So with the postage on top, that makes it worthwhile. So you just got to decide yourself what works best for you. If you're encouraging people to buy multiple items, then you can keep those item prices slightly lower and charge postage on top. So it's just people will get a better deal than if postage was included in everything. If you're listing stuff for it to sell typically as an individual item, then free postage seems to work, and that's been my approach for a wee while, and it seems to work. You know, I'm quite happy with that as it goes. Anywho, that is all I have to talk about just now. So, as ever, thank you for watching. This room is incredibly dull at the moment. I really need to sort out the lights. So I put the big light on, I'm wearing a halo, and the wee lights I've got, as soon as the batteries start going down on them, they just get a bit dull. So yes, I'm standing here in the dark, talking to you from the shadows. What we do in the shadows, I've been watching a lot of that lately, but that's a totally different conversation. Alright, I'm going to head off, get these couple of orders packed up, get those James Patterson books listed, and I shall see you tomorrow. Bye bye.